What's up, you guys? I'm Najee Richardson, and you are watching 222 Productions.
Oh, my head. I just finished watching Semifinal 3 of ANW Season 13. Oh, this thing's big. It can get very cold. So, let's get down to business, shall we? If we're going to talk about this episode, I'm going to need special equipment. Just going to ask this question right away. Who the heck thought that the drop zone was a good idea for an obstacle? I feel like the episode itself was, like, overall fine. And there were some parts that I would consider really good on a personal level, especially. But, like, a lot of it, I feel like I was distracted from, because all I could think about is how terrible an obstacle drop zone is. So, going through the course really quickly so far, the first 4 obstacles are all obstacles you've seen before. Shrinking Steps, Double Twister, Ring Chaser, and Diamond Dash, making its first appearance this season, the old Double D. But the 5th obstacle is Drop Zone, and I don't know how they designed this obstacle and not considered the possibility that people could, like, severely hit their head and damage their head on this thing. So they have to jump, grab a pole, turn 180 degrees, and once you get to, like, an arbitrary point, it releases on you and it comes down. And there's a disc at the end that you hold on to allow yourself to do the lissé to the next part. But, like, with the 2 poles, the problem is that the best way to hold on to them, just normally, is like this. Because, like, you know, you always hear Akbar say, you gotta hold your L's, gotta maintain your L's. So people like this, the pole's, like, right above their head, and as soon as it drops, the pole, at least at first, is going to fall faster than your head. So it's going to hit you in the face if your head is directly below the bar. And I don't know if this thing is made of steel or aluminum, but either way, it's metal. And it's a metal that will hurt if it hits you in the head. And the fact that we had, like, multiple bleeding cuts and other people getting smacked in the head is ridiculous. This obstacle, I get what they were going for, but it sucks. I'm sorry. This, just for how unsafe it is, this obstacle sucks. Also, the second part is, it's like a trapeze bar that comes out this way and then, you know, falls down. And so, like, you have people like Bryan, who was the first run, you know, I imagine when they design this obstacle, they want you to be on the outside facing the center point of the rotation, but it's very easy for people like Bryan, before the full 180 rotation is done, to turn so that their body is now facing outside of this circle of rotation, which means the bar is going to fall directly into their face, which, again, is like, that's something you gotta rethink, you know? They should have done something different with this obstacle. I don't necessarily know what the answer is, but if they're going to bring it back, I don't know how they can, in good conscience, bring this obstacle back unchanged. They need, like, Nerf padding. They need, like, foam noodles around the handles that you grab, but except for, like, 2 spots where you grab it or something. But of course it makes it harder because then it's like you got to do a precision grab and things like that. But it just doesn't work. The obstacle just doesn't work as intended. And then, you know, there's 3 holds. 2 of them are the poles. 1 of them is the trapeze bar. But it's ridiculous. Then for the rest of the course, you got warped wall, salmon ladder, padlock, and they changed split decision. It is now, the upper body is now the dungeon, which is an obstacle I really like still. And the balance obstacle is the diving boards. And I'm actually a little bit embarrassed that I didn't think of this ahead of time, because I was wondering, what could you replace the tuning forks with in terms of a challenging balance obstacle? And the obvious choice is the diving boards. However, it shares one very similar quality as Drop Zone in that it is extremely dangerous. In past seasons, there have been people. When I say past seasons, I think it's just ANW 11, but people have gotten hurt on that thing. I believe Maggie Thorne got like a concussion once because she just straight up like smacked her head against one of them. Flip, when he fell, he got hurt, and even though he was able to clear stage 1 after failing that obstacle and using a safety pass, he was very clearly injured enough that it prevented him from clearing stage 2, causing him to time out. And there have been other people who've they've gotten like cuts and scrapes and stuff on the obstacle, and like you can hit hard. And the other part of the diving boards that I don't understand is, why is the dismount platform, the ending platform, so freaking high? It's above the diving boards, like significantly above the diving boards. It's a wall. Essentially, in most cases, if you're going to clear, it's like a barrier you have to like dive over, or you're not going to land on that feet first. You have to like grab the wall and climb yourself over. And it's like, why did they do that? This is already a hard enough obstacle. Why is the dismount so like, I don't know. I'd love to know the reasoning behind that. Maybe because like they were afraid that people would like fail the middle part and still be able to like kind of skip the final diving board and still reach the platform or something. That's what I'm thinking, maybe, in terms of explaining their reasoning. But like when I saw that raised platform, it's like, dear God, like that's high. It really makes me wonder what goes through people's minds when they design these courses, because like, this makes the tuning forks look fair and balanced by comparison. Whew. So there was no real intro. Oh, by the way, the final obstacle is a spider trap. Woo, whoop-de-doo. So there's no real intro. Usually there's like a montage with music. Nah, just skip it this time, which I'm fine with it. I was just taken aback because there was no real intro. So first up was Sean Bryan, and I was like, Now, the first run in the semifinals doesn't automatically mean they're not moving on to Vegas. There have been plenty of times in the past where they have shown the first run and someone who moves on. He had a fun, a nice little intro fluff piece about opening up his new gym, Traverse Fitness in California, and how he's helping local kids in a town that's not the best, doesn't have as many opportunities, I guess you can best say. It was good. The Traverse, that's a gym I definitely would like to visit one day, especially if I'm in better shape. And I do find it funny that like he has like literal priests cheering him on in his virtual session. I rather enjoyed that. So obviously the big moment, the big story of this run is Drop Zone, where the middle section just smacks him so hard, gives him this deep gash in his forehead. I saw on his, I think it was his Instagram, he posted like a little video of like how it just kept opening every time he spoke. He ended up having to go to the hospital, get stitches. They couldn't stop the bleeding fully. It's bad. It was a bad hit. Apparently no concussion, which is good, because there was a few that I was really worried. And then he just kept continuing the course. Like, it was, honestly, it looked like I was watching pro wrestling. Just like how, because some wrestlers will just get, blood on their forehead and it'll drip down, and like it's getting all over his shirt, especially the white half that's right here, because it cuts on this side and it's right here. So his white section of shirt's getting red. It's coming down his face. Very clearly they handed him towels at some point. I remember ANW Nation on Twitter posted that They did clean the course up after his run and after the other bloody people's runs, which is good in a COVID world. And so he chose the dungeon, he beat the dungeon, and he gets to the spider climb. I will say the injury made the run more hype. It shouldn't have happened, but I was rooting for him even more to clear this course. And so before he gets to the spider climb, he does a prayer, and he climbs it, and he clears the course. So only the second time in ANW history where they edit the first person to be a course clear. The first time was Booty Cothran in one of the qualifiers. I want to say season 10, I feel like it happened. Could be wrong, but I don't care if I'm right. I want to say it was like an Atlanta regional. But this was a great run. I mean, Sean Bryan is one of the best. He is what I would consider one of the favorites to win it all one day. And that just showed, that just proved it. And hopefully he doesn't get injured anymore while on an American Ninja Warrior course, I want to see him win, not get hurt. And then what was interesting is they used the phrase when they were, previewing the rest of the episode like they do. They used the phrase all-stars. You'll see a bunch of your favorite ninja all-stars, which for those of you who don't know is a phrase that's used in the original Ninja Warrior Sasuke. But with Sasuke, it's meant for a very specific 6 people, and only 6 people are given the title of all-star, and it was more of a marketing thing. But now, ANW is using the sense that of just top competitor that might be your favorite sort of thing. In Fast Forwards, Brad Giles failed a double twister. Oh no. Josh Wang failed ring chaser, and Megan Bundway failed diamond dash. She saw that double D and felt insignificant. And then we had Francisco Bernardes. This was so. I want to get this perfectly clear. I'm not making fun of the guy. So his whole thing is that he has a stutter, and obviously that sucks. But because only 1% of people have the stutter, a stutter, I should say, he decided to call himself the 1% Ninja. And I'm going to be honest. Before Matt Eisman explained why he's called the 1% Ninja, that's not the first thing that came to mind. My first thought was a 1%er in terms of wealth. It's like he's saying, oh, he's super rich. I don't think that name translates the way that he wants it to. I saw some other people say that they thought it meant he had 1% of body fat, which is insane. It is so hard to get 1% body fat because you need fat, some fat on your body. So I don't know if 1% Ninja is the best way to go about it. I get that you don't want to call yourself the stuttering ninja, but there's got to be something else, right? Surely there's something else. Anyway, let me see. He missed the ring, and this was a roller coaster of a ride. Basically, he missed the ring, and then he had a close call on the diamond dash, very close call, if I remember correctly, with the landing. Almost didn't make it, but was able to pull himself up. And then he had another close call on salmon ladder. I believe he got things crooked a bit and had to readjust. And finally, padlock got him the rotation of the second lock of the padlock. But the good news is he is moving on to the Vegas finals. So congratulations to you. Looking forward to seeing more. This is where they did the same Universal Studios promo that they've been doing. Next up was Enzo DiFiore Wilson. They mentioned that he is the youngest person officially to hit a buzzer when he hit the buzzer in qualifier, and you can't teach that. And he is a beach trash cleaning person. He runs I don't know what to call it, a nonprofit, a group, a movement to clean up the beach. As someone who spends a lot of time on the beach, I can appreciate someone who spends time picking up trash on the beach, because trash on the beach is no good. No good at all. He had... oh, that's right. So in the beginning, he almost bit it right away on the shrinking steps. His, I believe, one of his hands actually missed the rope, and so he had to readjust, then swing back forward. It was looking very sketchy in the beginning. He almost blew it, but he didn't. He didn't blow it. And then the rest of the run was pretty good, but once again, failed the second padlock, just like Francisco did. And he is moving on to Vegas also, as we later found out. So, good job, Enzo. Hopefully you'll experience lots of amore on the course in the future. And then in more fast forwards, Chariot Blanc failed the Ring Chaser. Oh no. Glenn Davis failed Diamond Dash. Aw, man. That one did make me feel sad. And this one, I'm annoyed that they fast forwarded it. And I'm annoyed at the run itself. David Campbell bashed his head on drop zone, similar to Sean Bryan, got bloodied up, and it's even more noticeable because he's bald, so it's like on the top of his head, blood's coming down, and he couldn't get the full distance on the dismount, and one of his feet dipped into the water. I think it was his right foot, could have been his left, who knows. And unfortunately, he got disqualified for going off course as a result, and it was tragic, and it made me angry, because, like, this was the second time already. I was expecting a lot more blood on this course because they front-loaded these injuries. I texted David. He said he was fine. Just a little bit of shock at first, but he was able to recover nicely, which is nice. You know, I was legit afraid that he had like a concussion or something just from the way he hit it. But I mean, yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan of that obstacle, man. Just not a fan. Then they showed Nate Pardo, and it's like, it's not much to say. They started him at the drop zone, and when he made it to split decision, he chose the diving boards and failed the diving boards. It was a run that was there. Best way to describe it. Brittany Durant. So in addition, no, I was thinking of someone else. I was about to say, in addition to being an axe thrower, no, that's not her. She's a dancer and a business owner for her own stuff, and so she looks cool. Had a nice style on the course. It was fun. Honestly, her run was fun to watch, but she ended up failing drop zone. Just unfortunately lost her grip on the third bar before she got the chance to do the proper dismount. So it wasn't the drop that took her down. It's just slipped off afterwards, which has got to suck. Being so close and to fail that way, I would be annoyed. You know, I would actually rather fail a dismount than to slip off during my building up my swing to my dismount. But she does end up filling up the final spot for the women going to Vegas, so we will get to see her again. Unless they caught her. Then we won't see her again. But we'll get to see her again. Maybe. In more fast forwards, shockingly, Sophia Laville failed the Ring Chaser, and Deshaun Harris failed the padlock. But hey, he's moving on, so that's good. And then my boy, Josiah Papel. Oh, I was so looking forward to this run. They mentioned how he was trained for a long time by Najee Richardson, who unfortunately is not competing this season due to injury. But Josiah is going to wave the flag for the Phoenix and try to clear the whole course. And, like, Josiah is really good. I've known this for a while now, seeing him on the NNL, and obviously, you know, he competed in Ninja Junior. I was about to say Ninja versus Ninja. It's like, I mean, technically, it's a Ninja versus Ninja, but it's not called Ninja versus Ninja. It's Ninja Junior, ANW Junior. But no, Josiah's great. And I'm really glad that he's gotten this opportunity to show his talents on the course. And what I really like is that he was focused. One of my complaints sometimes is people that spend too much time in between obstacles, wasting time, going, whew, not being focused, Even like sometimes they'll talk to Matt and Akbar after they get up to the top of the warped wall before they start the salmon ladder. And it's like, you're wasting time. The clock's ticking, guys. Josiah, he just kept moving. Very little time was spent in between obstacles. And this was very key. He ended up clearing the whole course. It was great. After he cleared the dungeon, which is what he chose, I'm standing up, just being like, yes, go, get up there. He was able to push through the walls of the spider trap and cleared with a time of 5:26:21, which is a good amount faster than Sean Bryan's 5:57:15. So currently in first place. Does he hold on to it? If you're watching this review, you should know the answer to that already. But yeah, great run. Great run. Then we have, in fast forwards, Tage Harrington, I should say, failed padlock, but we'll see him in Vegas. Kevin Carbone failed padlock, but we'll see him in Vegas. And Bryan Critch failed padlock, but we won't see him in Vegas. And I was pulling for him too. He's only one of 2 people left. It's a dying breed of people who've competed in every season. ANW better not willingly choose to not accept both Bryan and David in a single season. You gotta keep it alive, Shingo Yamamoto competed in 38 Sasuke's, and it wasn't always guaranteed for him to compete. He's dedicated. You gotta keep the streak alive, man. Gotta keep the streak alive. Anyway, out next was Megan Rowe, who throws, in addition to being an axe thrower, she makes her own earrings. I don't wear earrings, so, I can't relate to this a lot, but I can appreciate someone who makes crafts and sells them. And hopefully the people who buy them think that they're a quality product. It was a good run. It was a good run overall. I believe, if I remember correctly, when she was... so she caught the ring on Ring Chaser, which is good. And I believe she hit her head on Drop Zone, if I'm remembering this run correctly. It's possible. My memory sometimes betrays me. So she hits her head. Fortunately, she doesn't get busted open. She said something along the lines of, "Ow, my head," or "Ooh, I hit my head." And it's like, God, can people stop hitting their heads, please? And then she gets up the warped wall, gets up the salmon ladder, and she made a comment that's like, bonus points for doing it without hands. It's like, not how the show works. Also, kind of do it in your hands. Kind of important. She made it to padlock, failed second on the second padlock. I always appreciate someone who can be funny, talk on the course. That is right up my style. So Megan Rowe, you've gotten a fan in me with that. And congratulations, you're going on to Vegas. Hopefully, we get to see you do a little bit more chatter on the Vegas course. And in more fast forwards, Alyssa Barcelona failed Diamond Dash. Couldn't handle the shapes of those things. And then Tyler Gillette made it to split decision, but chose diving boards in an attempt to save time, and then failed them. And then this next part was like weird and slightly frustrating. So like they start with Adam Rail, and they start with him at padlock, which is the 7th obstacle, that's pretty deep in the course already to start a run. And then so he clears that. Doesn't spend a lot of time doing it. By the way, I noticed that there was a lot of runs where people tried turning that 3rd padlock the wrong way. So like when you're on the 3rd padlock, you have to turn to your right to tip it, but multiple people I've seen lean to the left this episode and like not get anywhere because it doesn't turn that way. It's physically locked to not turn that way. So I thought that was weird. You would think that they would pay attention to, the demonstrations, because I know they demonstrate the obstacles for everyone. I wonder if the producers mentioned if it can only go one way. But I would just assume it can only go one way because it very clearly has locking mechanisms. But I don't know. That's just me. So, like, this was weird. The editing. The editing of this episode is weird in many ways. But, like, they show him standing at split decision for, like, a long time. He's thinking to himself, do I try the diving boards? Do I do dungeon? Do I do diving boards? Do I do dungeon? And Matt and Akbar are like, the clock's ticking. If he wants to get to the power tower, he's got to make up his mind. And he ends up timing out before he even completes the 9th obstacle. He eventually chooses dungeon. He does it pretty quickly, mind you. And then he ends up going to clear a whole course. And so it's like, yeah, I mean, Adam Rail is great. But the way that he's been edited so far this season, there's no chance in heck that he is moving on to stage 4 of Vegas. He's not winning this year. If there's a winner, it's not him. There's no chance that it's him. I'm sorry. It can't be him. Then, immediately, no commercial break in between, Jose Gomez, the Bowtie Ninja, celebrating his 40th birthday. You know what? I feel like this was just ANW being nice to the guy as a 40th birthday present. He unfortunately ended up failing drop zone, so he's not moving on. But I can appreciate someone living their best life, competing on a game show that they love on their birthday. So good on you. And then, slightly weird, after this next commercial break, they quickly show Matt and Akbar taking a selfie for the Instagram. Gotta do it for the gram. It's just so random and, like, so quickly thrown in there. And then they immediately go to more fast forwards. Cody Johnson! Hey, remember him? Well, guess what? You don't get to see him anymore because he failed the double twister. And then Mike Wright, the swimsuit, Speedo Ninja, I should say, ripped off his pants, and he ended up doing a header on Diamond Dash. And he just couldn't handle the size of those things. Vincent Payne, he had a neat little intro where he was dressed up as a mad scientist, poured some, I guess, water into dry ice, causing it to bubble all up, and he rips off his, takes off his lab coat, reveals his custom-made outfit, and he goes run the course. He's a science major, I think. And he has David Campbell giving him advice on the sidelines, which is a very good coach to have. And honestly, it really helped because, like, David was telling him stuff like, use the switch grip here and things like that, giving him tips and advice. So it's a good advice to have, I feel like. Unfortunately, she ended up failing. He ended up failing Padlock. And is he moving on? He is not. Ooh, that's unfortunate. What was interesting is that after he cleared the warped wall, he, like, took off his shirt, and they joked about him taking off his pants. And I'm just thinking to myself, that would be an interesting gimmick for the show, the stripper ninja. Every time you clear an obstacle, you take off an article of clothing. If you clear the whole course, you're just in your underwear and a pair of sneakers. That would be interesting. And I don't know if it's something that ANW would actually air on the show, but who knows? Maybe they could be convinced. In more fast forwards, Austin Hare had a gender reveal. Fortunately, nothing was blown up or burned down, but he found out that he's having a girl, but unfortunately, he failed double dash. Sorry. And then it's like, for God's sake, can you please show Brett Sims, please, in a run? Once again, 3rd year in a row, not including last year because I don't think he competed last year. 3rd year that he competed in a row where he clears the semifinals slash regional finals course, the 10 obstacle course, and once again, he gets fast forwarded. What does this guy have to do? He literally has to make it to the power tower for him to get a full run, doesn't he? It's ridiculous. This guy, especially these past few years, have been consistently good, and you deny him. He is 6 for 6 between the qualifier and the regional courses the past 3 seasons he's competed. I just want to point that out. 6 for 6. He's completed the past 3 qualifiers, past 3 semifinals slash regional finals that he's competed on, and all 6 times he's gone fast forward. I'm sorry. The editing was very bizarre because we had a lot of padlock fails shown and like so many clears fast forwarded. It's like you couldn't like throw one more in that, you know, that was nice. It's weird. It's weird because it's like I want to like this episode because it has stuff that I like, but like when I look into it more and I think about how terrible of an obstacle drop zone is, it's like I really cannot give this a thumbs up episode, even though like it has some thumbs up moments. You know, it's not a complete like just horrible episode. You know, there are even episodes this season where I felt worse after watching them compared to this one. I actually felt fine. You know, and it ended on a high note too. But like, what was it? It was qualifier 4 where I was just like completely defeated reviewing it because like it was a boring, awful episode. And episode 1 was a boring, awful episode. This was not boring and it wasn't awful, but like there was a lot of problems still. So the next part is Megan Martin, and I will give them credit. They haven't been doing this a lot this year, but I gotta give them crap for this, just for old time's sake. They acted like the show physically took a break for the Olympics. Like they filmed the first 2 semifinals, then they filmed the first semifinal, then they stopped to go to the Olympics, and then they filmed everything else of the semifinals. Because they said, Megan Martin's Olympic duties are over. And I get that they're promoting that she was commentary for the Olympics, for rock climbing, and that's great for her to have that opportunity, and how, you know, she's busy and all that. But, I don't know. It's weird. It's also kind of weird because, like, with that editing and that line, it feels like, again, kind of like what I said with Semifinal 2, that, like, the original plan was for Semifinal 2 to air before the Olympics, but, like, the hockey put a wrench in that plan. And it's, like, it's so weird. I hate it when they do it. I hate it when they pretend that ANW is airing in real time because it makes no freaking sense. Megan Martin, her run was fine. It was she's doing a lot better this season than past seasons. She ended up failing padlock, the second one. I think she failed to get her hands high enough on the Lachey. But hey, moving on to Vegas. So hopefully, because I've criticized Megan Martin for this a lot. Hopefully, when she gets to Vegas, she actually moves at like a decent pace. Because so many times when she makes it to Vegas, it feels like she has no sense of urgency in terms of the time limit. Like she just doesn't understand that stage 1 has a time limit. And I'm hoping that it changes this year and she can like maybe clear the course. Who knows? I would love it if she could clear the course. But she's got to pick up the pace. In the final fast forwards, Jonathan Goodbout cleared. Once again, maybe could have shown that. And RJ Roman tried to clear fast enough to get to the power tower, but he chose diving boards and failed them. So he gets to move on to Vegas, but doesn't get the power tower. And then they finish it all up with Vance Walker. And this profile piece, I really need to get this off my chest. This profile piece made me feel a little bit uncomfortable. And so first off, Vance's parents, very clearly are rich. He's got big ass backyard, a big pool, big house, a bunch of home obstacles that his parents financed, which is great. Congratulations. That's not a negative. My issue is how they presented Vance's relationship with fellow ninjas. So he's got these wingnut obstacles over the pool that Kevin Carbone helped him build. Great. That's perfectly fine. But then they went into this whole deal about how, like, this ninja, who is 15, mind you, hangs out with all these adult ninjas all the time in the pool. And, like, in the profile piece, you don't see any other kids, any other, teenagers there. And then they say that, like, some of them sleep over at his house. And it's like, again, I'm not accusing anyone of anything, because I don't think any of them are guilty of anything nefarious. But, considering what happened last year to ANW's most recent champion, and what he got arrested for hanging out with 15-year-olds a little too hard, the way that this was presented felt very awkward. Like, it was unintentionally awkward, because I get what they were going for. I understand everything. The whole sleeping over is probably like, crashing in a house at their house before, a competition, so they can travel a day before and get some proper rest. Fine, whatever. But the way it was presented, all I can think about is what happened with Drew last year. And it's not the fault of Vance. It's not the fault of any of the adult ninjas presented in this fluff piece. It's entirely the fault of the ANW editors and directors for presenting this information in the way that they did. And I talked to some of my online friends, and I asked, am I the only one who felt this way? Turns out I wasn't. There was some weirdness with that profile piece. So all I'll say is, ANW, just, be more careful how you present information like that. Because, yeah, it was just awkward. It's just awkward. And usually most of this stuff doesn't bother me, but it's like, yeah. Okay. So now that we got that out of the way, Vance is really good. He was going so fast through this course. The first half, I think he finished it in like 2 minutes or something like that. It was unreal. Cleared the dungeon. He ended up clearing the whole course with a time of 4 minutes and 17 seconds. Over a minute faster than Josiah, which is unreal because Josiah was moving fast. And this guy's the real deal. They went on to mention about how, because with all his runs in ANW Junior and the qualifier run in ANW, he has never fallen on the course. He's never gone in the wet. In his profile piece, one of the things that Vance said at the very end, which I thought was clever, is like, the only time I'll ever get wet is when I jump into my pool, which is, that's fine. So when they kept stressing he's never failed a course before, it's like, are we about to see something here? Are we, they're trying to mess with me in terms of recognizing the edits. They're getting better. I will say, in terms of subverting expectations, in terms of how they edit these past couple of years, for better or for worse, they've gotten better at subverting. Sometimes in ways that are worse, like how Austin Gray, despite finishing second last year, got fast-forwarded the first 2 rounds, which is ridiculous. So, speaking of, that means that the Power Tower was between Josiah Papel and Vance Walker. Sean Bryan, unfortunately, could have beat Josiah. Unfortunately for him, could have beat Josiah if he had not gotten horribly injured on the drop zone. Because I imagine that cut and all the bleeding probably took a lot out of, probably really added to his time. But, unfortunately, that's the way it goes in this case. So, I'm not going to lie. I was rooting for Josiah. He's my guy. And it was a really good race. It was a really close race. The lead kept changing throughout the whole thing. It's like Josiah got like a little lead on the climbing part in the beginning, and then Vance took a lead on the ring, and then Josiah took a lead on the rungs, and he got to the shells first. but Vance was able to get through the dropping shelves faster. He was able to like build his swing up faster in between runs, in between jumps, I should say. And he was able to hit the buzzer first, just a little bit faster than Josiah. So Vance got the safety pass, and he gets a redo if he ever does fail an obstacle for the first time in ANW or ANW Junior. So it was a really good race. I was really into it. You know, I'm not gonna like hold it against the show because my guy didn't win. It was a good race. It was a good way to end a weird and mixed episode. You know, it was a good finish. And I feel like sometimes a strong finish can of any show can really affect your opinions on the whole show. So if the finish wasn't as good, I might not have liked this episode as much as I did, at least how I felt at the end. You know, talking about it now, it's like most of the runs kind of just felt there. Maybe it's because so many people failed padlock and they kept fast forwarding most of the clears, it feels like. And yeah, how many? Yeah, they showed 4 clears. But really that's weird. Yeah, they fast forwarded 2 of the clears, and Adam Rail was practically fast forwarded because they started him at the 7th obstacle of 10. So it didn't. The editing was so weird, and plus so many of the more popular ninjas got fast forwarded. I'm trying to think of the featured runs. Like, how many of them were actual like veterans that were like known veterans? Because like in the beginning, they're like, oh yeah, we got. I'm just thinking all this right now, because like in the episode preview. You know, the first segment episode preview, they're like, yeah, this episode is full of R-stars. And then they're like, oh, hey, we're going to fast forward, like, almost all of them. It's like, really, at the end of the day, ANW needs to fix this problem. They got to figure out how to show more runs. And I don't know the full solution and what they're limited by. But they got to figure something out. Because this is getting ridiculous. For them to say, oh, we're going to show so many All-Stars, and then don't show a lot of All-Stars in terms of full forms. But like, let me try this quickly. People who be considered All-Stars, how many of them were actually shown? We got Sean Bryan, that's 1. Adam Rail, that's 2, and he was barely shown. And Megan Martin. That's it. Wow. That is... Yeah, episode's full of R-stars, but we're not going to show most of them. We're just going to briefly mention them. Ridiculous. Yeah. So it's in terms of the law of averages, this is a thumbs in the middle episode, but like, get your crap together, A&W. It's ridiculous. So I've been talking for a long time. Let's talk about the final results. So all in all, 1 person failed the shrinking steps, which has got to suck. 3 people failed double twister, 6 failed the ring chaser, 6 failed the double dash, 5 failed drop zone, no warp walls fails, no salmon ladder fails, 11 failed padlock, once again being a real ninja killer, no one failed the dungeon, and 3 failed the diving board. So everyone who chose dungeon cleared, everyone who chose diving boards failed, no one failed the spider trap, but 6 people managed to complete the course. And here are your 18 people from Semifinal 3, moving on to Las Vegas. So, we have 6 people who cleared, once again, with Vance Walker, who won the safety pass, Josiah Papel, Sean Bryan, Jonathan Gobout, Brett Sims, and Adam Rail. And then, failing the diving boards, we have RJ Roman, Tyler Gillette, and Nate Pardo. And then, failing padlock, we have Kevin Carbone, Tage Harrington, Enzo D. Ferrari Wilson, Francisco Barajas, Deshaun Harris, and Bob Reese. And your top 3 women are Megan Rowe, Megan Martin, who both failed the padlock, and Brittany Durant, who failed drop zone. So we only got 1 more semifinal left, and then it's beautiful Las Vegas. So we're almost there, folks. We're almost there to what should be the best part of the season. And please, please, let it be the best part of the season. And hopefully if Drop Zone is in the next episode, hopefully no one gets horribly bloody this time. Hey y'all, thank you all very much for watching. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and check out some of my older reviews of the entire season and past seasons of American Ninja Warrior. I'll see you later. Bye.